a little more time in on the ball joint mod here. This, I hardly remembered, so I don't expect anybody else to. Anyway, this was the mount for the tension control rod, you know, that I had mocked up before. Okay. Now to compare the two, this is a bit more of an angle than it needs to be this way. So I'll probably end up bringing that back up just a bit, which means I'll have to bend those sides in a little more. But, you know, all I had was a 3/8 inch hole in there, and what I want to do is put this in. So I drilled a 13/16 hole in there, and that fits in there, and then this will push in, and then that'll slip over the tension control rod. Okay, and what that'll do is that'll keep it from eating the tension control rod when the rubber goes bad and starts hitting the edge of the other hole here. That means that sacrificial tube in there will do that. So then you'll start hearing knocking, rattling, whatever, and be able to replace it before it kills the rod itself. So that's kind of where we sit now. I think it's about time to mount it up, check this angle here, get it tacked, and figure out the bend there, whatever, and play with that. First of the control arms mounted up here, tension control rod plate here. Basically I'm checking, I've got this lined up across here, so that's basically at ride height for the stock setup. So I put it all back together with the other one and that stuff. So this is basically what I wanted to see. I won't be able to put the nut all the way on there, but at least it won't fall off. So I have the, oh, I guess I can get it on there far enough to hold it. Nice. Basically what I wanted to see was when this thing is at the proper angle and those bushings, this has been sitting on it for so long, it's misshapen the bushings, but when I lift it back up to where it's pointing straight through there, look at that, lines right up. I'm pretty tickled with that. So I definitely need to bend these a little bit more and then check that angle, and then I'll do all the rest of them to that angle, and they should be pretty darn close when they go together. So I want to get that set before I do any tacking. Once I get that set, then I can tack them and check the other angles and take note of that. So and then once I do that, and I want it in middle of ride height, because as it goes down it's going to bend, and when it goes up it's going to you know, pivot or flex around this point. Since I don't have it tacked, I can't see how much binding or anything I'm going to have, so I'll wait till I get it tacked for that. There we go for another angle. It just pops right in there. So, like I said, I'll do some bending and tack it. Got a couple tacks in there, that'll be enough to hold it. The drawback I have in the tacks in there now is that in order to get this tension rod out, disconnected, I have to basically take the arm off, you know, to get it out of the way, or unbolt it here. Since those aren't captured nuts, those are kind of a pain in the butt. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to make a nut plate, you know, to stick in behind there. I may just simply put some nuts in there and tack them. I'm not exactly sure yet. But anyway, the whole point is I wanted that tacked. It's at stock ride height right now, basically. So I want to be able to pull it all the way down. And that's farther down than it's gonna go. Okay, and I'm still not binding here. Okay. In fact, there's really not a great deal of deflection in the rubber here, but that's definitely lower than what I have to stop it at with the bump stop. So that's ride height. Excuse me. That's where are we at there? I think we're just being stopped. Yep, we're just being stopped by the sway bar mount. And that's the shock absorber bottomed out going up. Okay, so very little. So that ought to work beautifully. Now, the angle here being a sharper, greater angle just simply means it's going to be stronger. That creates more of a gusset effect being laid over like that. Now, if I make these by hand, I think probably what I'm going to do is just put a slice either on the inside or the outside, about halfway through the metal, and then bend it, instead of trying to bend it the way I did here. And you can see I got some marks on there now. I had to beat it over with a hammer because the angle got great enough I couldn't do it with the crescent wrench. But since I'm going to be welding this up anyway, it won't be any big deal to just, run a bead right up where I put the cut. But the cut will make it a whole lot easier to bend. So, now that I have this tacked up and everything like that, I can flip this thing back over on its wheels and check the sway bar mounting. I had it sitting on the chair here on the bottom part, so that it wasn't sitting on the sway bar. Ouch, there's a bit of weight there. Bit of weight here too.